and over again. Maybe I'm becoming obsessed with it, but I can't stand how this organisation has been able to orchestrate and manipulate and cultivate and celebrate their horrible doctrinal lies. I just cannot comprehend it. I'm sorry, I just don't know how. Even, well, the Russian government kicked them out. They listened to the Orthodox Church and they've gone. The Orthodox Church has complained about it, and they've listened, the government, the Russian government, and they've gone, we can't have this as a religion in our nation, and thereby they banned it. So I think in 1941 Australia banned the Jehovah Witnesses for being interferers in the Allied effort of the war, sending out radio transmissions about how people shouldn't go to war and things, or something of that nature, and the government banned the religion in Australia, at least temporarily. And I just can't understand how the blatant lies of that organisation are believed. Can you imagine telling someone, really honestly, that Jesus is Michael the Archangel? That's like someone saying President Trump is Elvis Presley. It's just so untrue that I can't understand how people can even believe the theology of that organisation. Like, as soon as somebody tries, I wasn't even a Christian, I didn't know anything about Christianity, but one thing I did know was that Jesus was Jesus, the Son of God. It was just in my spirit to know that this Jesus wasn't just some angel deciding to turn up in a different persona. No, I just can't understand how this Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, which has made billions by using religion as a shop front, can still get away with it. I really cannot comprehend how that works. But you know, he who loves him who begot us Christians also loves him who is begotten of him. And my trouble with this is the Jehovah Witnesses will not ever acknowledge Christianity. Now, there's no form of Christianity that's perfect. Let's get this right. None. But one thing I found yesterday in my theological audit was that the Jehovah Witnesses never apologise for their wrong theology. They're just unrepentant. It's an unrepentant organisation, and yet it forces all these rules and regulations on people that really aren't qualified Christian doctrines or regulations. They're just made up within the organisation to keep people enslaved. Gee, I've got a problem with the Jehovah Witnesses. The organisation, that is. And also loves him who is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of God. When we love God and keep His commandments. Now the normal, poor old normal Christian would go, we've got to love His commandments. You immediately turn to the Mosaic law. No, 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 no. The Christian commandment is to love your neighbour as yourself. And I know that a lot of you listeners don't like that, because you'd want to love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and unless you do that, there's no reason to be religious. But God was one step ahead of you. As James said, oh, it's easy to love God and bless Him and put on the facade, but if you can't love people, if you curse people, then do you really love God? And again, the Watchtower is notorious for this. They're waiting for, their idealism of it is Christ will come back and annihilate humanity and leave the Jehovah Witnesses. Do you know how evil that kind of thinking is? That's worse than genocide. That's an annihilation of the whole world's population except the Jehovah Witnesses. What sort of thinking is that, viewers? Terrible. So by reminding people that loving the Lord your God with all your mind and with all your heart is a waste of time and actually detrimental to your health, that really treads on people's corns. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that that's all a waste of time, because that's their way of hiding from, in many ways, not all, but in many, the responsibility of loving our neighbour as ourselves, which is as simple as Christianity can be. Do no harm to yourself or anybody else. Be humane. It has nothing to do with God's standards in the Mosaic law. And what I find very interesting with the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, how it undermines governments. And whilst none of the governments are perfect either, how dare they undermine the Australian government for all the good it does. It's not perfect, but all the good it does. And as Australians, we can grow to take that for granted, but I'm not that foolish. And I despise the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society as saying all governments are evil. Not all governments are evil. The Australian government's got, you know, probably got its flaws and stuff, but overall, how could anybody ever complain that lives in Australia? We got people coming from all over the world getting the benefits of the social benefits and stuff, the financial benefits. For those that can't get work, the government gives them money. It's just so evil, that organisation, the pictures it portrays and the mindsets it instills, the destructive mindsets. But here, where it says the commandments in verse 2, it's talking about, for this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not burdensome. For whatever is born of God overcomes the world. Now, that's talking about the cruel part of the world. You don't have to overcome the good parts of life. You only have to overcome the evil parts of life. But again, the Watchtower has to take this all the way. It has to make it all inclusive, that all aspects of the world are of the devil. That is not rational. It's just not rational. And it's just not fair. We've been put in on the world to live. Look, some people may not be as fortunate as I am, and I really, it's not my fault. I'm sorry, but it's not my fault. I'm trying to make do the best I can with what I've got. But some people haven't got the opportunities that I've been given. Some people haven't got the peace and the stability that we have here in Australia. And I pray for those people. I really do. The Australian government's just passed another permission for 160,000 people to come into the country. I think they're pushing it now. We're starting to bust at the seams a bit, but they're allowing another 160 foreigners to come into the country. Maybe one of you listening might be one of them. For whoever is born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Now, just let me show you the contradiction of hating the world and then going into the world to preach the gospel or stand there with your cart. When you approach some of these Jehovah Witnesses, and I have to keep using the Jehovah Witnesses because they're the only ones I see in my community. They're the only ones I'm interested in at the moment. Why take a false message? Right, this is how twisted it is. This is how dangerous these people are. Why take a false message, a clear, blatant... Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.